All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. So today I'm going to do a video on Christmas is Saturnalia. Now, before I get started, I just want to say that when I was in church, and I was in church for many, many years, I wonder why our pastors or anybody that we dealt with never actually looked into what is Christmas, where did it come from, and why are we doing it? Why are we celebrating it? Because we was told that it was because of the birth of Christ. But we all still had Christmas trees. We all still did the Santa Claus thing, the Merry Christmas. You know, we watched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and, Frosty the Snowman and all that stuff. And we were also told that um, the reason why we give gifts is because when Jesus was born, they gave gifts. The wise men brought him gifts. So that's why we're doing it. And I'm here right now to show y'all that that's not true at all. This is an ancient old, um, and it has a lot of dark history behind this holiday. Christmas is Saturnalia, and now the world is following is the Roman dramatic holiday called Christmas. And what is this Christmas spirit that everybody's talking about? Now, I already just did a video about the Christmas tree, and that goes all the way back to Nimrod, that Christmas tree. But the Christmas tree is also something that the Most High said not to do. And now this is also enjoying with this same holiday. I showed in the last video. If you haven't seen it, go back and see it. The truth about our beloved Christmas tree. And who was worshiping this Christmas tree. And where did all this come from? The people that are in the northern areas that were actually doing these things. So this is an old custom, but it also has a lot of dark qualities to this custom. And now we are all celebrating it. Everybody's celebrating around the world, and nobody even asked the question, what are you doing? Why are we celebrating it? What is this whole time? Why was New Year's changed to January the 1st to coincide with this same festivities? All of it was blended together, and everybody's following it blindly, especially the Christian churches. Because I think we promote it more than anybody else. And where are the pastors just coming out saying that we should not be doing this? But they're not there. And they all do it. And the video after this one, stay tuned, because after this, we're going to be going into the birth of Christ. We're going to see, and I'm going to take you to the book, and we're going to see all these prophecies concerning Christ. Are they talking about him? Because if the Christmas tree is not right, and this is not right, and New Year's is not right, well, there's only one thing left. They said Jesus is the reason for the season. That's what we were told. That's why they put up Xmas. But so I'm gonna go into this. I think y'all my screen is shared with y'all, and it says the fascinating folklore of origins of Santa Claus. Now let's go and read this and see what they say right here, because I got some more to show y'all. It says, we all heard of the jolly gift giver, but how did he come to be synonymous with Christmas? It says, the legend of Santa Claus is widely known throughout the West and many parts of the world. A plump man sporting a white beard and a red suit, Santa is said to bring gifts to well-behaved children on Christmas Eve and deliver a lump of coal to those whose manners could stand to improve. A lump of coal. Okay? Whether or not you celebrate Christmas, at one point you probably wondered where the legend of Santa Claus originates from, and how the tale of charitable man in a sled hailing from the North Pole becomes so closely associated with the Christian holiday. As it turns out, Santa Claus has his roots and folklore of several different European countries, and the gift-giving tradition stretches back much farther than most people realize. So this gift-giving history did not come from your Bible or the wise men. As a matter of fact, it was created with Constantine and them in 325 AD, way back when. And they was in sun worshiping. And the pagans combined the sun worship and their pagan holidays, and they blended it all together, and it all became one. That's why you go to church on Sunday and go to Sunday school. But we're just going to get deeper into this. Santa Claus may owe his earlier influence to Odin. Who is Odin, y'all? Odin is a god, a Greek god, also known as Woden, a god revered by Germanic peoples in North Europe and Northern Europe as early as 2 BCE. Odin was celebrated during Yule and pagan holiday that took place midwinter. During this time, Odin was said to lead the wild hunt and ghostly processions through the sky. You see, and we're going to get deeper into this too as we get into the Saturnalia aspects of this, because this is a lot more there's a lot more to this than most people think. And so Odin was the god. I think he was it wasn't Zeus. I think it was Zeus' father. It was Zeus' father, if I'm not mistaken. And these gods were Greek gods. So again, before I go into, what is the spirit of Christmas? What is this all about? Gift giving, all these holidays. Well, we're about to get deeper into it. Just stay tuned. So now I made a mistake on that. So Odin is not. Odin is a god from the north, for the Norse people. So he's different than Zeus. But this is somebody that was revered back in the day. Of course, not all the world, but I'm just saying the people that was in these areas, this was their god that they worshiped. Okay. Now you see, now we're gonna get into Saturnalia and what this was all about. So y'all see what's on the screen. All right. Now that's what it says. Saturnalia, held in midwinter, December or mid-December. It is an ancient Roman pagan festival honoring the agricultural god Saturn, the agricultural god Saturn. Now remember what we said. The word Gentile, heathen, and pagan are synonymous of the same word. Okay? I'm just doing the connections. I'm just connecting the dots. So after I read this, I'm going to go back over that definition one more time so y'all can see it for yourself in case you didn't see the other video. All right? All right, here we go. Because of when the holiday occurred near the winter solstice, Saturnalia celebrations are the source of many of the traditions we know now associate with Christmas, such as wreaths, candles, feasting, and gift giving. Okay, what is Saturnalia? Saturnalia, the most popular holiday on the ancient Roman calendar, derived from older farming related rituals of midwinter and the winter solstice, especially the practice of offering gifts or sacrifices to the gods during the winter sowing season. The pagan celebration of Saturn, the Roman god of agriculture, and the time began as a single day, but by the late Republic, 133 to 131 BC, it had expanded to a week-long festival beginning December the 17th. On the Julian calendar, which the Romans used at that time, the winter solstice fell on December the 25th. And so, and basically what you're doing, so there's a time when they were dealing with the winter solstice. The sun, I guess it went down for 3 days and it stayed down for 3 days. But on the 25th of December, it began to rise. And so that's why we celebrate on December the 25th. Jesus, Jesus was never born on December the 25th. So why are we doing all these things? Why have not the pastors asked the questions? What are we doing in December the 25th? We all are under still a Roman, and the world is following under this system. And now we are all are doing it in all countries. Everybody's giving gifts, and they think, it's it's the spirit for the season. But this is going back to a dark system that it actually derived from. And so it's sad that nobody actually looked into this with all the information out here about it and never wondered, why are we celebrating Christ's birth in December 25th? And if you see during the manger scenes, obviously it wasn't wintertime because the shepherds were in the field and they was walking through the field and they had the baby in the manger. So it's probably more like in spring or summertime, something like that. But why in the winter? Why was January the 1st? Why was New Year's changed to January 1st as well? Okay. How the Romans celebrated Saturnalia. During Saturnalia, work and businesses came to a halt, as we do today, right, y'all? Schools and courts of law closed, and the normal social patterns were suspended. People decorated their homes with wreaths and other greenery and shed their traditional togas in favor of colorful clothes known as synthesis. Now, you know how they wear the you know how that people wear their green, their sweaters, the red and all that? They do the same thing still today. Even enslaved people did not have to work during Saturnalia, but were allowed to participate in the festivities. In some cases, they sat at the head of the table while their masters served them. And, it's like, during this time, I noticed that when you're at your job, like a lot of jobs, the people are rude to them. The people that is in charge of the rude, they're all year long. But all of a sudden, those same evil people, when they come around Christmas time, all of a sudden they seem to act nice. They want to come on the floor and like, oh, we thank you for the work you've done and all that kind of stuff. But all through the year, everybody's like looking around like, what's wrong with this person? That's all of a sudden they're nice for a couple of days. And that's why it always is. They're nice for a couple of days during this little time frame. But this is the festivities that they do. It's part of the tradition. Instead of working, Romans spent that Saturnalia gambling, singing, playing music, feasting, socializing, and giving each other gifts. Wax taper candles called Syrii or Syrii were common gifts during Saturnalia to signify light returning, and after the solstice. See that? And like I just told y'all before, signifying light returning after the solstice. So what happens is, like I said, the sun now starts to rise. It's going to start staying longer in the sky. And from this point on, it's going to start, the day is going to start becoming longer. On the last day of Saturnalia, celebrations known as Sigularia, many Romans gave their friends and loved ones small terracotta figurines known as Signalia, which may have referred back to older celebrations involving human sacrifice. Saturnalia was by far the jolliest Roman holiday. The Roman poet Catullus famously described it as the best of times. So riotous were the festivities that the Roman author Pliny reported built a soundproof room so that he could work during their precocious celebrations. The Temple of Saturn and other Saturnalia customs. Constructed in the 4th century AD to replace an earlier temple, the Temple of Saturn in Rome served as a ceremonial center of later Saturnalia celebrations. On the first day of festivities, a young pig would often be publicly sacrificed at the temple, which was located in the northwest corner of the Roman Forum. The court statue of Saturn in the temple traditionally had woolen bonds tied around his feet, but during Saturnalia, these bonds were loosened to symbolize the god's liberation. In many Roman households, a mock king was chosen. Man, that kind of sounds like when Jesus was sacrificed, they gave him a mock king to wanted to take his place. Then that little story they had. The Saturnalius princeps, or leader of Saturnalia, sometimes also called the Lord of Misrule, usually a lower member of the household, or lower, I can't say that word. That's a weird word. Lowlier, very much the base person in the house, the least person in the house of the household. This figure was responsible for making mischief during the celebrations, insulting guests, wearing crazy clothing, chasing women and girls, etc. The idea was that he ruled over chaos rather than the normal Roman order. The common holiday custom of hiding coins or other small objects in cakes is one of many dating back to Saturnalia, and this was a method of choosing the mock king. How Saturnalia led to Christmas, y'all. Here we go. Thanks to the Roman Empire's conquest in Britain and the rest of Europe from the 2nd century BC to the 4th century AD, and their suppression of older seasonal rites practices by the Celts and other groups, today's Western cultures derive many of their traditional celebrations of midwinter from Saturnalia. The Christian holiday of Christmas, especially, owes many of its traditions to the ancient Roman festival, including the time of the year Christmas is celebrated. The Bible does not give a date for Jesus' birth. In fact, some theologians have concluded he was probably born in spring. Oh, what I just told y'all. See, wow. Here we go. As suggested by references to shepherds and sheep in the nativity scene or nativity story. By the 4th century AD, Western Christian churches settled on celebrating Christmas on December the 25th, which allowed them to incorporate the holiday with Saturnalia and other popular pagan midwinter traditions. You see that? So people are telling me that I'm ungodly or I have a demon when I tell you I don't celebrate Christmas. So me and my family don't celebrate Christmas. And so many other families don't celebrate Christmas. So when we try to tell the other Christian people that, they think we are being evil or we are being ungodly. And I'm only trying to bring out the truth. This is what this channel is all about. This to bring the truth out, to show y'all where this is coming from. This is nothing. The Most High told you the customs of the people are vain. Again, go back and watch the video before this one. It's called The Truth About Our Beloved Christmas Tree. And there's a reason why the Most High put in the book this holiday. The man, when he go into the forest and cut a tree and they decorate it with silver and gold. It's a reason why he did this holiday. And he said, for the customs of these people are vain. It's the heathen. He said, Israel not to do it. Be in the world, not of the world. The whole world is following this tradition. I'm working with somebody, she's from Africa, Ghana. And she showed me the video them singing jingle bells and Santa Claus, you better not pout, you better not cry, you better watch out, I'm telling you why. And the kids are dancing in the church, singing these songs. This tradition is now worldwide. They're doing it all over the world, in China, everywhere. And so you're looked upon as you're crazy if you don't do it. All right, let's get into it. Is Christmas a pagan holiday? Pagans and Christians coexisted, though not always happily, during this period, and this likely represented an effort to convince the remaining pagan Romans to accept Christianity as a Rome's official religion. And they did. If you go read up on Constantine, if you didn't follow that, they would torture you or kill you. So and the Christianity, its origins, is not pretty. And that's why people think it's so saintly and godly. But this religion, people have died and were tortured all around the world because of this. And all you have to do is go do your real history research on it. So it's not like I'm making it up. So pagans and Christians coexisted during this period, and this likely represented an effort to convince the remaining pagan Romans to accept Christianity as Rome's official religion. Before the end of the 4th century, many of the traditions of Saturnalia, including gift giving, singing, lighting candles, feasting, and merrymaking, had become absorbed by the traditions of Christmas as many of us know them today. And that is fact, y'all. So a lot of people are into this and they don't understand what they're really worshiping. So hopefully we're trying to bring it out there and, just hopefully wake somebody up. Hopefully somebody watches this and pays attention and actually digs deeper. All right, so y'all see this coin up here? This is supposed to be Saturn right here driving a horse chariot on the reverse. This is a real coin. See, 104 BC. This is before Christ or before the common era. See that? This is what they were doing, y'all. So it's kind of like taking y'all back. So this is real stuff that they're actually doing. Now, let's get down to this. Check this out. The Saturnalia reflects the contradictory nature of the deity Saturn himself. There are joyful and utopian aspects of careless well-beings side by side with disquieting elements of threat and of danger. A deity of agricultural bounty, Saturn embodied prosperity and wealth in general. The name of his consort, Ops, meant wealth resources. Her festival, Opaleo, was celebrated on December 19th. The Temple of Saturn housed the state treasury and was the administrative headquarters of the questors, the public officials whose duties include oversight of the mint. It was among the oldest cult sites in Rome. What kind of site? Cult sites. And had been the location of a very ancient altar, even before the building of the first temple in 497 BC. The Romans regarded Saturn as the original autochthonous ruler of Capitolium and the first king of Latium, or even the whole of Italy. At the same time, there was a tradition that Saturn had been an immigrant deity received by Janus after he was usurped by his son Jupiter, Zeus, and expelled from Greece. His contradictions, a foreigner with one of Rome's oldest sanctuaries, and a god of liberation who is kept in fetters most of the year, indicate Saturn's capacity for obliterating social distinctions. Roman mythology of the golden age of Saturn reign differed from the Greek tradition. He arrived in Italy dethroned and fugitive, but brought agriculture and civilization and became a king, as the Augustan poet Virgil described it. He gathered together the unruly race, scattered over mountain heights, and gave them laws. Under his reign were the golden ages men tell of. In such perfect peace, he ruled the nations. And there he is. Look at this coin. A Roman disc silver depicting Sol Invictus from Pisanus in Phrygia. And see, some of these are the names in the New Testament. Phrygia, 3rd century AD. All right, listen to this, y'all. 3rd century Napoleonic philosopher Porphyry took an allegorical view of Saturnalia. He saw the festival's theme of liberation and delusion as representing the freeing of souls into immortality, an interpretation that Mithrists may also have followed, since they included many slaves and freedmen. Now, Mithra was another god that they worshiped back in the day. And he was also born on December 25th. So you go look up Mithra and see about him and see about all his attributes. According to I'm messing these names up. So Porphyry, the Saturnalia occurred near the winter solstice because the sun entered Capricorn, the astrological house of Saturn at that time. In the Saturnalia of Macrobius, the proximity of the Saturnalia to the winter solstice leads to an exposition of solar monotheism, the belief that the sun ultimately encompasses all divinities as one. M. Avada Zara lists Saturnalia as a festival of the Gentiles. Now, I didn't put that in there. You hear what they just said? Now, the thing about this Jewish person in here, they're Gentile too. But go watch my other video. M. Avada Zara lists Saturnalia as a festival of the Gentiles, along with the calends of January and Cratises. B. Adva Zara records that Hannah B. Rava said begins 8 days after the winter solstice, and Saturnara begins 8 days before the winter solstice. Hannah B. Hashul, followed by Solomon B. Isaac, claims 8 days before the solstice, their festival was for all 8 days, which slightly overstates the Saturnalia historical 6-day length, possibly to associate the holiday with Hanukkah. What are we following, y'all? What are we following? Just skip down a little bit. As a result of the close proximity of the dates, many Christians in Western Europe continue to celebrate traditional Saturnalia customs in association with Christmas and the surrounding holidays. Like Saturnalia, Christmas during the Middle Ages was a time of ruckus, drinking, gambling, overeating. The tradition of Saturnalia's precepts was particularly influential. In medieval France and Switzerland, a boy will be elected bishop for the day on December 28th, the feast of Holy Innocents, and will issue decrees much like a Saturnalia's precepts. The boy bishop tenure ended during the evening vespers. This custom was common across Western Europe but varied considerably by region. In some places, the boy bishop orders could become quite rowdy and unrestrained, but in others, his powers was only ceremonial. In some parts of France, during the boy bishop's tenure, the extra clergy would wear masks or dress in women's clothes, a reversal of roles in line with the traditional character of Saturnalia. So they were cross-dressed. During the late medieval period and early Renaissance, many towns in England elected a lord of misrule at Christmas time to preside over the Feast of Fools. This custom was sometimes associated with the 12th night of Epiphany. A common tradition in Western Europe was to drop a bean, coin, or other small token into a cake or pudding. Whoever found the object would become the king or the queen of the bean. During the Protestant Reformation, reformers sought to revise, even completely abolish such practices, which they regarded as popish. These efforts were largely successful, and in many places the customs died out completely. The Puritans banned the Lord of Misrule in England, and the custom was largely forgotten shortly thereafter. Though the bean and the pudding survived as a tradition of a small gift to the one finding a single almond hidden in the traditional Christmas poetry or in Scandinavia. Nonetheless, in the middle of the 19th century, some of the oldest ceremonies, such as gift giving, were revived in English speaking countries as part of widespread Christmas revival. During this revival, authors such as Charles Dickens sought to reform the conscience of Christmas and, and turn the formerly riotous holiday into a family friendly occasion. Vestiges of Saturnalia festivities may still be preserved in some of the traditions now associated with Christmas. The custom of gift giving at Christmas time resembles the Roman tradition of giving, I have to look this up, sigillaria, and lighting of the Advent candles resembles the Roman traditions of lighting torches and wax tapers. Likewise, Saturnalia and Christmas both share associations with eating, drinking, singing, and dancing. So you see, this what y'all doing today, what everybody's doing, has this is something back from the Romans, from the Gentiles. This is a Gentile or pagan holiday that relates back to Jeremiah chapter 10. And it talks about don't follow their customs, for their customs are vain. So you see, now it's all coming together. It's making sense. Just go back and watch the previous video again, okay? All right. So I'm gonna show y'all something else too. And what most people don't know is that the real first purge, well, we got to read it. Y'all know the movie The Purge. It's basically when this is one day, 24 hours, whatever, that people are allowed to kill and to do anything they want to do. There's no laws. You can do anything you want, anything under the sun to anybody. Rape was allowed, torture, murder, whatever you wanted to do, it was allowed. And I'm gonna show you where this came from. So let's get into it. The true purge, strange and unusual spotlight. Strange and unusual spotlight, Saturnalia. Here we go. Saturnalia is the ancient Roman holiday dedicated to the god, you guessed it, Saturn. And that's why we have Saturday. And people don't understand this. This whole system we under is pagan. And we just following pagan, heathen, Gentile traditions. and people don't get it yet. Saturn, it was a week-long celebration from December the 17th to the 23rd, where supposedly all crime was legal. Christians adopted the holiday as its own. See that? Christians adopted the holiday as its own. What more do I need to say? So I'm not attacking you. I'm just showing you what the truth is. All right? And it is the inspiration of the blockbuster Purge franchise. So all of y'all who know and have watched The Purge, this is its origins. For those of you who haven't seen The Purge, the basic idea is that one night a year for 12 hours, all crime is legal. Of course, instead of just robbing a bank to pay off those student loans, everyone jumps straight to murder. The whole point of The Purge is to allow people one night to get out all their frustrations in order to keep society running smoothly. Now this may sound ridiculous and a complete work of fiction, but it's actually a lot more real than you may realize. Saturnalia's purpose was almost identical to that of The Purge. For 1 week, wow, lawlessness ruled the streets. And this was to show the citizens of the Roman Empire just how much they needed law and order to be able to survive. So what they did was 1 week. And they said, we're going to go 1 week without it. So I guess the uppers, like you see in the movie Purge, they would sit back and allow everybody to purge each other. The average citizens run around the street and they can murder, kill, rape, steal, whatever they wanted to do. Everything was legal. So they allowed people to do this so to prove to the people, yeah, you must obey our laws. Because if you don't have our laws, this will happen. This will be going on all this time. But actually, it was simply false. But it was just a way for them to keep their rule over the people. So they allow all this. So if you were mad at someone and you wanted to get back at them, and normally under normal circumstances you couldn't, you waited till Saturnalia came around for this 1 week where you were allowed to do anything you wanted. Okay. And the worst things you could think of was made legal during this time. Gambling, which was usually frowned upon, was completely legal. People cross-dressed. Are y'all hearing me? They cross-dressed. Slaves were able to fight back against their masters. And yes, even human sacrifices were made. Of course, the festival evolved over the years and eventually ended completely when Christianity swept through Europe and the church chose to adopt both Saturnalia of the Mediterranean and Yule of Scandinavia and transferred them into their biggest holiday of the year. You guessed it, Christmas. Y'all got the Christmas spirit? And I'm going to say this to y'all too, while we're on this point. Christmas is for the corporations. The corporations use Christmas to make money off of you. And their biggest seller for this is Santa, aka Krampus. But y'all, we're going to get into that in a second. And we're singing these songs to our children are singing, you better not pout, you better not cry, you better not pout. I'm telling you why. Well, it's got nothing to do with Santa, the nice Santa Claus in the red and white suit today. You know, the one you see on the Coca-Cola sign? No, not him. It's got dark origins. So if you find yourself sitting in the movie theater this holiday weekend watching the first Purge, Thank the Romans for that many of their things, I suppose. So they gave you that holiday, and most people don't even know it. So what are you following? So y'all seen that? And like I said, that wasn't me. I'm just showing y'all, and it's tell you if you looked at the screen, right? If you looked at the screen, it showed you where it came from and who it came from, and it showed you where it was celebrated at. So the same thing I was showing you when I was telling you about the Christmas tree video. And I know a lot of people were getting their feelings and stuff, but I'm just telling you what the truth is. So, and it's sad. It's sad. Now I know some people want to just go out and celebrate it anyway. I know it's for the kids, right? It's fun for the kids and all that, but it really isn't. All you doing is continue the tradition of the spirit of the holiday. Then you watch the movies. Y'all watch all the. You got your kids watching all these and all these magical things that they be doing on TV. The spirit of Christmas. You watch these like Jack Frost and he's magical. Father Winter, he's magical, and you got the evil person and all this kind of stuff going on. Santa Claus got magical reindeers that can fly. You know, and y'all still don't understand that all this is done and they play the commercials. Now you're being groomed by the corporations because now you have to go out and get somebody something for Christmas. You go into credit card debt, you're broke, but you got to get a Christmas present. And just like back then, they shut down everything. I think Christmas is like the quietest day out there. You can go get on the highway, you can ride around freely. Everything is shut down. And it's traditions, it's got nothing to do with uh Christ's birth. And now I'm gonna show you that on my next video. All right, yeah. So finally, this is gonna be the end part of this because I think I made this too long, but this is the true sinister origin behind 5 popular Christmas stories. So now we're gonna get the origins of some of these stories so y'all can see for yourselves that this is not make believe or I'm just trying to be, against kids. I'm a bah humbug or all that kind of stuff. No, it's got nothing to do with any of that. They're just telling y'all the truth, okay? So it says, forget everything you know about Christmas and discover the evil side of this ironically festive holiday. Try to celebrate after reading about the sinister backstories of the Christmas characters and rituals usually thought with a fond affection. You'll learn the dark history always wins over sanitized commercialism. And see, commercialism. I said commercialism. Commercialism, exactly what it is. They sanitize Santa Claus for you guys so that you sell to your kids and you can sell to each other so that y'all will go buy gifts. And this is the biggest corporation day of the year during this time, because this is the time frame where they make their most of the money, or when they go into the black. That's why they call it Black Friday. Black Friday was when all year round most businesses, they were actually being the red. That means they don't really making any money. But on Black Friday, that's when they went into the black or they went into the green. They actually started making money. So they incorporated the Christmas in the commercials and they sell to the kids. That's why it's so important to keep pushing this to your children. Your children entice you to go buy, because all the other kids are doing it the same thing. And so in the school systems as well. So they promote this. You do a little, the kids are doing a little, they making Christmas trees and out of paper, they making drawings and stuff, Santa Clauses and what they want for Christmas and all that. And then Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman comes on, Heat Miser, a year without a Santa Claus and all this kind of stuff. So all this is pagan tradition, heathen tradition, Gentile tradition. And it's not me that's saying it. I just went over all the places where it's derived from, proving it to you. Okay? We read it out the book, the Bible. Not the Bible. I don't like using that. We read it out, the scriptures from the Most High side of the Bible, right? We read it and it showed you who it was and where it was coming from. All right? And this tradition also has taken over the whole world. So let's keep going down. Tomatin, Santa's little helpers. Oh, that's so nice. Before Christianity arrived in Germany's Black Forest, the Tomten were Knock Rupert evil existence. Knock Rupert evil existence. Dressed in red to signify the color of blood, these nasty dwarfish creatures accompanied Knock Rupert on his visits, where he would give gifts to the faithful and kill those who had strayed. Christmas bells take on a horrifying twist when you consider that Knock Rupert carried chains with bells on them. The Christian later replaced him with Saint Nicholas. Wow, the Christians. See that? The Christians later replaced him with Saint Nicholas to make him more acceptable, while the Tomten were replaced with Christmas elves, also known as Santa's little helpers. So, y'all, here it is. Have you been naughty or nice? Originating in the Alpine traditions, the Krampus is a dark goat man, complete with curved horns, a hideous face, and a red, lolling tongue, sometimes dressed in rags and masks. He drags chains and carries a basket for naughty children. On December the 5th, known as Krampus Knock, this monster stalks the streets while St. Nicholas gives gifts to the good children. Sometimes Krampus will give bad children coal or bunches of twigs. Other times he whips them with chains or carries them off to be eaten, drowned, or sent to hell. Considered to be the dark essence of the horn god Krampus is also depicted with cloven hooves and fangs. The chains represent the Christian church's attempt to bind him throughout Europe. His image was used to frighten children into behaving themselves. You better not cry. You better watch out. Whatever that song is, I'm telling you why. That's where you get it from. Sometimes considered to be St. Nicholas' assistant. He also is seen on his way, wandering around at night, peering into windows to see if he can find tasty morsels to drag back to his lair. Pray that all you get is a lump of coal or a light whipping, as the alternative is too terrifying to contemplate. Sometimes some say that Santa is an agorim for Satan, seeing as he also is known as Old Nick. Although Santa is said to have been derived from Saint Nicholas, others compare Santa to the Norse god Odin, who's from the north and has an all-seeing eye. Like Santa, sees when you are sleeping and knows when you are awake. Odin gives presents at the Yuletide to his followers when they honor him at their sacred fir trees, which is like we have today. You see the Christmas tree. A more sinister comparison is Hans Trapp, who punishes bad children in certain parts of France. He was an evil rich man who also happened to be a Satanist and was excommunicated from the Catholic Church. After being exiled into the forest, he dressed as a scarecrow and kidnapped children in order to be cannibalized. He was hit by lightning and killed while preparing to eat a young boy. Some believe that he continues to visit young children or visit children dressed as a scarecrow in order to make sure they behave themselves. People who live near the mountainous regions near Alsace and Lorraine keep their eyes peeled for a glimpse of Hans Trapp, who hopes to fill his cooking pot with the flesh of naughty children around Christmas time. All right, y'all. So I think that'll be it for this video. And I just wanted y'all to see some of the things that we are worshiping today or that we're following today. It has deep, dark origins. And its deep, dark origins are evil. And as you see, it has all been sanitized today. Now you got a Santa Claus, but it's still, the spirit behind this is still dark, y'all. It's not a good spirit behind this. And now this tradition is overtaking the world because everybody follows it. And if you don't follow it, people look at you like you're crazy. So now I hope this video reaches some people and y'all get a chance to look at it and y'all get to see some of the truth about what you're really celebrating, about the tree, about this whole time of year. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. And the day does not start at midnight, right? A day doesn't start at midnight. And the new year is not on January the 1st. Okay? See? 1752, they changed it. And most people don't even know that the new year began in the spring when things come back to life. They did all this to fit in with Saturnalia. They put all this time together, the winter solstice, all this with the Christ's birth, all the paganism, all the heathenism was all put together, and it's fooled the world. I just revealed it to you, and so many others have too. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And this is the Truth Seeking Network. Peace till next time.